Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today our topic is requirements for critical section problem. So before that, what is a critical section? Critical section nothing but a common section of code between programs. Suppose two programs are there. Those two programs sharing the same common data like common variable or common data, whatever it is. So then the common section of code between those two programs is called a critical section. And race condition means the order of execution, right? So in the previous video I have discussed about this critical section deeply. So please watch my previous video for a critical section problem. Okay, let us go for the requirements of a critical section problem, right? So first of all, you see a example here program 1 and program 2 is there. So in this program 1, some statements are there here. These are all statements, and this is one more statement. So these are all number of statements here, and in program 2 also there are number of statements appeared here, right? But in both the programs, like a program 1 and program 2, there is a common variable here, that is count variable here. So here count variable has incremented in this program 1, and count value has been decremented here in program 2. But here the operation is different. Here the increment operation, here the decrement operation. The operation is different on that variable, but they have shared the same common variable. Okay, so but what about the remaining statements? The remaining statements are not similar to the second program. Suppose these statements are there. These statements are not similar to the program in statements in second program. Similarly, these are all different statements from program 2, right? But the common statement is there here with the variable count. So here in such cases, generally we may have inconsistent results at the end. Suppose while you are executing both the programs parallelly, right, you may get the results which are inconsistent, right? So the common section of code, this is called a critical section. The common section of code is called as a critical section. So here in this case, count plus plus and count minus minus, both the statements are called a critical section code. And here in which order the both the programs have executed. Suppose in the first case they have followed a different pattern of execution. In the second case they have executed in different order. In third case they have executed in some other order. So whatever the order is there, based on the order of execution, the result may be variant, right? So the order of execution is called as a race condition. Order of execution, in which they are in which order they are going to execute the statements from both the programs. So that is called a race condition. So please watch my previous video about this example of critical section problem. Okay, there I have discussed some cases there. So please do watch my previous video. Now coming to the requirements. So before coming to the requirements, let us see how you can restrict any critical section problem without having the inconsistent results. So first of all, suppose a critical section is there. This is a program. In this program, a critical section is there. Critical section nothing but the code involved in this critical section is common with another program. Okay, so the code involved in this critical section is common with another program, that is called critical section. And here this critical section means some set of code is there inside the critical section. So to restrict any program to enter into the critical section, we should have two sections to control over the number of programs with the same critical sections of statements. Okay, so here before critical section we will include a entry section, and after critical section we can include exit section also, right? So and what about the remainder section means? Remainder section nothing but the statements which are not in common with another program. Remainder section may have different type of statements, so that are not common with the another programs also. Okay, so that is those set of statements are called remainder section, right? So here why I am restricting this critical section before and after, because here in this case what is the problem we have observed actually in both the programs we have a common variable. While you are trying to execute the common variable in both the programs, you may get inconsistent results at the end. So to restrict such type of inconsistent results, we should have a mechanism called this entry and exit sections, using this entry and exit sections. So here in this entry section, we will have a flag bit. That flag bit checks about the availability of critical section. That means based on the flag bit value, you are going to be allowed into the critical section. When I will be allowed into the critical section means, suppose these are two programs and here count plus plus and count minus minus, these two are in the critical section actually, right? So before this count plus plus, I will include entry section, a small set of code, and after this count plus plus, I will include exit section. So here also entry section will be there before this statement and after the statement exit section. Suppose when a program like a program 1 is executing in critical section like count plus plus, it is executing the critical section, while other program like program 2 should not enter into the same statement. Why? Because program 1 is already executing the statement in the critical section, but the program 2 should not be allowed. So that is why, to restrict the second program to not to enter into the critical section, we should use entry section. In this entry section only, the program 2 will be allowed as a first program to enter into the critical section. As a second program, it will not be entered to the critical section at the entry section. That means program 2 will continuously stay at the entry section only for the approval of critical section. When it will be approved into the critical section for program 2? When the program 1 completed the critical section execution, then it will be exited through exit section, right? So whenever it exited from the critical section and enter into the exit section, then only the program 2 will have a chance to enter into the critical section, right? So suppose one is there inside, the other one should not be allowed, and suppose the person which is inside is trying to come out from the critical section, then only the other person will be allowed into the critical section. That is what the mechanism here in this using this entry section and exit section, right? So in entry section, we are going to restrict the second program, and in exit section, we are going to allow the second program to enter into the critical section. So that is what involved in this beautiful mechanism. Okay. So first, let us know about this requirements of critical section, right? So these are the three. There are the three requirements here. That is mutual exclusion, progress, and bounded waiting. These are the three requirements actually, right? So in this, what is mutual exclusion? So let us explain using a real world example first, so that we can easily understand about these three requirements, right? So let us take a dressing room here. This is a dressing room, and in this dressing room, generally at a time only one person will be allowed. Okay, and in my concept, this dressing room I am considering as a critical section. CS means critical section only. So dressing room means dressing room is very common to everyone. Suppose let us take a hostel, right? Suppose there is a dressing room or a washroom. So that washroom or dressing room will be used by a single person at a time. No two persons will be allowed at a time into the dressing room. So similarly, here I am considering a dressing room as a critical section. In this critical section, only one person allowed. Whatever the number of persons are waiting outside, I don't know about that. So I don't bother about that. Simply I will allow only one person inside. So that is why I am considering this as a critical section. Let us take two persons here. One is male and another one is female. So two persons are there actually, right? Suppose these two persons want to enter into the dressing room. What should happen? So let us try to execute mutual exclusion first. So in this mutual exclusion, what is mutual exclusion? See that if process Pi is executing in its critical section, then no other process can be executing in their critical section. If one is executing in CS, other one would not be allowed, right? So see that what is happening here. If one person is there inside, suppose let me show you here, male is there inside. Suppose male person is there inside the critical section, right? When one person is there inside the dressing room, the second person will not be allowed. So when he completed his task, he will come out of the room. Then only the other person who is waiting outside to use that room will have a chance to enter into the critical section, like in the dressing room. Okay, so that is what involved in this example. So here also, when one program is executing this critical section like count plus plus, the second program will not be allowed. When it gets completed and exited from the exit section, then only the second person or second program will be allowed into that critical section. Okay, so that is mutual exclusion. So let us read the same statement again. If one is in the critical section, the second one will not be allowed, right? And coming to the progress, the second requirement, that is progress. So let us see. If no process is executing in its critical section and there exists some process that wish to enter their critical section, then the selection of process that will enter the critical section next cannot be postponed indefinitely. So first let us understand. If no process is executing in its critical section, suppose no process is executing in the critical section and there exists some process that wish to enter the critical section, right? Suppose the critical section is empty, that means no process is executing in its critical section, but here female want to enter into the critical section. In this case, female should be allowed to enter into the critical section, because in these among these two persons only female is interested to use the dressing room, right? So whenever some other person is interested to use the dressing room, we should not restrict that person to enter into the dressing room, right? And what is the case here? That wish to enter into the critical section, then the selection of process that will enter the critical section next cannot be postponed immediately. Suppose female want to enter into the dressing room. She entered, right? After completed her task, he will come out of the room. She will come out of the room, and well, while she is coming out of the room, she will make other person to enter into the critical section. She would not restrict any other person to enter into the critical section. Suppose when female is there inside, male want to enter, but at a time only one person will be allowed into the critical section, no? So whenever female came out of the room, then male will be allowed. So here in this case, female should not restrict the male who wants to enter into the dressing room. Should not restrict the male or the second person to enter into the critical section. That means everybody should have a freedom. Everybody should have a freedom to enter into the dressing room. No one can restrict the other person to enter into the critical section, right? And there is one more thing here. Whatever the person entered and exited from the critical section, he would select the other person who wants to enter. This male would select the other person who is waiting for the dressing room. He can select that person to enter into the critical section. That means there is some sort of code is there. Based on that sort of code, he may give the priority to other person who is eagerly waiting for that. So that is what the progress. Simply we can say when the critical section is free, anyone can enter into the critical section. And when one people came out of the critical section, it should not restrict the other people to enter into. And in the similar way, when one person came out of the room, he or she will select the person who is waiting for that. Okay, that is about progress. That means in this program 1 and program 2, suppose program 1 completed its task and came out of the critical section. While exiting from the critical section, program 1 will wake up the program 2 who is entering, who is actually waiting in the entry section there. That means it is waking up the program 2, and it should not restrict program 2 and to enter into the critical section. That is what a progress. And the third one is bounded waiting. What is meant by bounded waiting means, let us see first. A bound must exist on the number of times that other processes are allowed to enter the critical section after a process has made a request to enter its critical section and before that request is granted. So very simple. A bound must exist. Bound, that means a simple numerical value. Let us say a numerical value or a numerical bound should be there. So a bound must exist on the number of times that other processes are allowed to enter their critical section. Okay, let us see. Suppose female and male are there. In the among these two persons, female is going to use the same dressing room for many times. As a male, he is going to use only less number of times. Right? In this case, female will be allowed many times into the dressing room rather than the male person. Here, female is going to use the same dressing room for 5 times. First time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. After 5 many times, we should have a chance, the second person like a male should have a chance to enter into the critical section. That is waiting in terms of bound. So that means how many times he is waiting outside? For 5 times. So after used by 5 times with female, male get a chance to enter into the critical section. That means there is a bound. The bound is for after usage of 5 times usage of a female, the male should have a chance. Okay. Again, the female is going to use the same dressing room for 3 more times. So after 3 more times, male should have a chance to get into the room, get into the dressing room. And here one more is there. That means critical section. And after a process has made a request to enter its critical section and before that request is granted. Right here, in this bounding mechanism, the other person should wait for a number of times for the second person. And here we should know how much time the second person should wait. So that is called bounded waiting. And here the second person should not wait indefinitely. That means there should be a bound. Here, why? Because the second person, like a female, is continuously using the same dressing room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 16, 15, 16, 20, 25, 30 times. So after some time limit, after some bound, the first person should have a chance. Right? So that is why there is a bound for waiting. Okay, so this is called a bounded waiting. So here also, suppose program 2 is continuously executing the critical section for many times, but program 1 is waiting outside. In this case, program 1 should have a bound that it should have a chance to enter into the critical section after some few times for program 2. Suppose a program to executed for 5 times in the critical section. Later it should be exited. Then program will be entered into the critical section. So there should be a bound here. Otherwise, the second program like program 1 will not enter into the critical section for a long period. So that is about bounded waiting. So these 3 are very important requirements for any critical section, right? Thank you.